Hello, YouTube land. I hope that you are all doing well today. Lil Hipster is here today to talk about work. As you know, or might not know, I don't know, I work in a seafood restaurant in downtown Nashville. And I have to tell you, I'm making this video today because I've not had a super awesome week at work this week. Not at all. Normally it goes much better than this. I have a few bad apples, of tables that come through now and then. But for the most part, like, everybody is really nice to me, like a pleasure to wait on. I have no problems keeping a smile on my face all day, every day. But this week in particular, there's been some customers who have been not only just rude to me, but just downright mean to me. And it has its effect. Like, I went on tour this past week with my band, and so I took a whole week off work, but before that I had a whole week of shifts that I was working, in order to like save up money so I could go on tour. And I had a really, really bad table. The very last table of the very last shift I had before I left to go on tour. So they were pretty mean to me. And I went to Virginia this week. I had the whole week off work. So there's no reason I should have had any server nightmares. But for some reason, I had server nightmares 3 nights in a row last week. And that's just... there's no reason for it, and it's uncalled for. And don't think that if you're mean to a waitress, it doesn't have an effect on her when she goes home, because it does. Server nightmares are really common in the waitressing industry. Every waitress, waiter has them because it takes a deep toll on your subconscious for some reason. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I can't explain it. But, yeah. So I'm going to get into this, just a few things that you should never do while you're in a restaurant. This is never the way that your waitress should be treated. First thing that I kind of have on my list here is talking about my tip. Okay, if you're going to leave me a bad tip, sure, that sucks. But there's no reason to ever talk about the tip amount that you're going to leave me. It's uncouth, it's not sophisticated, it's rude. Like, just don't talk about my tip. It's not professional. I don't even care if you're planning on leaving me a good tip. Just don't talk about it. Just leave it, And especially if you're going to leave me a bad tip, don't talk about it, because that's just really rude. I had a table not long ago who I ordered everything correctly for them in the computer, but I was too busy to be able to run their food to them. The food runner took it, and he left off a crab pot. He left it downstairs. And I came back upstairs to the table, said, "Hey, how is everything? I see the food's out, See the dude at the head of the table, arms crossed, nothing in front of him, not happy. Dude, I understand that. You didn't get your crab. You're wondering where it is. You don't know the situation. I get it. No need to be an ass, though." And so I just kind of very lightly said, like, "Oh, where's your food? Let me check on this for you." And then he just pops off with, "It doesn't bode very well for you if the guy that's paying for the meal doesn't have his food." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, sir, I am so sorry. Like, I'm going to check on that for you right away. I'm sure they just left it downstairs, it just didn't make it onto the tray." And he's just like, "Well, how do you think I'm going to tip you now?" And I'm just like, "Really? Like, you just don't talk about the tip. Don't talk about it. Period. Ever." Okay. That's enough of that. My next thing is sending food back. I just personally think that you should never do it. Personally. Like, I don't see any reason to, because at the end of the day, even if you don't like it, it's just food. It's it's just eat it. Just eat it, poop it out the other end. Be done. It's just food. Just force it down your throat, even if you don't like it. You know, you might say, yeah, but I'm paying for it. But it's money that you expected to spend anyway. So, I mean, just chalk it all up to you tried something new and you didn't like it. Um, that's what I think, anyways. I don't think you should ever send food back. I have never, ever in my entire life sent any food back at a restaurant. It's never happened. And I'm a vegan, so I have definite, like, food specifications that have to be met. I have things that I cannot and will not tolerate to eat. But I've always made it very clear to the waiter or waitress that I'm a vegan and everything needs to be made without milk, eggs, butter, cheese, and no meat either. So I've always made that very clear. I've always had great success in getting exactly what I want. And I gotta tell you, there's been a couple times when they've thrown cheese on top, and I've just either, like scraped it off to the side, or I've eaten it, you know? There's no reason to send food back, and this is coming from a vegan who has very specific food needs. Never any reason to send food back. I had a table last night that they were not satisfied with their food. Lady thought that her crab cake was burnt on the bottom, which it's not burnt. It's just made in a broiler. And so it's going to be dark in some places, That's what cooked food looks like. And the guy that she was with was not satisfied with the size of his crab. And I don't think I would have had a problem with these people had they been nice to me. But I tell you, this table was rude from the beginning. They were weird. They were like, they weren't very, they weren't really participating in the conversation a whole lot. They were kind of, the second they sat down, I could tell that they were kind of in a bad mood, which I don't really understand that because I'm like, it's your night off. You're eating out at a restaurant with your girlfriend, and you have somebody to prepare your food for you, clean up after you, make nice conversation with. You get to meet strangers like me, get to meet new people. So I'm like, amidst all of this cool, good stuff you got going on right now, why should you be in a bad mood? There's no reason to be in a bad mood when you're out to eat. Leave that at the door. Don't bring that on me. So, dude opens up his steam pot. I might just revealed myself a little bit there with crab in it. He opens it up, and he's like, well, these just keep getting smaller and smaller every time we come here, don't they? And I was just like, oh my God, like, if you don't think there's enough food on your plate, there's nicer ways to say it, And so, being, the waitress that I am, I just put a smile on my face and I was like, you know what, I'm going to talk to the manager and see if there's not something we can do for you there. And I also had them make a new crab cake for the lady. And the manager go ahead and gave me permission to give them an extra cluster of crab. So, I'm just like, I've scored you a free crab cake and a free crab cluster. So my tip should be pretty good, I would think. But it was not. It was not good. Which I kind of expected that too. But another thing I kind of wanted to talk about was food imperfections. Dude was not satisfied about the size of his crab. It's winter, people. Like, crab are not big in the winter time. It's like, I'm sorry that they couldn't find a dead sea creature in a bigger size for you in the middle of winter, That's another thing about that I've come to realize now that I'm not eating meat anymore, you cannot expect dead animals to be completely perfect and identical to the last dead animal you ate every time. You know, like bodies have imperfections. If someone were to eat me, like I wouldn't be consistently perfect through and through. I have bony parts, I have tough parts, I have fatty parts. You know, like bodies, dead bodies are just, they're inconsistent. And when you eat them, you should expect that part that some parts are a different color than other parts. Um, like I said, not every dead thing that you eat is going to be the same size as the last dead thing you ate. And I keep saying that because as a vegan, that's how I view a piece of meat. It's a dead thing. It really is. Um, so, yeah. So it just kills me when people break open their lobster, because we serve like entire lobsters at my restaurant, and they see like the very meaty like white tail part, and they think that that's the way their lobster is going to be all the way through. But they break it open in the middle, they see all the green slimy guts and poop and everything like that, and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, it's the guts, it's the poop. This thing was alive at one point, which means it ate and digested just like you did. It's not going to be fluffy white meat all the way through the lobster, you know. But I'll tell you, if you want a food that's perfect to the core all the way through, I suggest a carrot or maybe a potato or an apple. What else is perfect all the way through? Any fruit or vegetable, pretty much, is, as long as it's not rotten or, you know, overripe or whatever, like, it's perfect all the way through. Um, so what can I say? If you don't like, you know, eating dead bodies that are not uh, entirely perfect, then maybe you should be a vegan like me, because I never have that problem. Big surprise. Um, but anyways, yes. In short, uh, all these things that I mentioned, there's just no reason for them. And you don't have to trouble somebody else. You don't have to trouble your waitress about them and then send her home to have server nightmares. You know, I never really explained what these server nightmares are. It's basically a nightmare where I come into work and I'm the only person working and the whole restaurant is full and they've all been waiting there for me to get there. And so I'm really behind, and normally it feels like I have cinder blocks on my feet and I can't get to the computer to ring stuff in, or I'll come up to a table and be like, ooh, this is going to be really fast, so I'll just take their drink order, and it takes them 30 minutes to give me their drink order. So I get all this anxiety built up and it's not good. It's a scary server nightmare, and I finally wake up. But I wake up, heart's pounding, I'm like stressed out, and there's just no reason to put that on your waitress. So be nice out there, tubers. Okay? Have a good day. Bye-bye.